coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling in love.
We're here again, people. We are here again. As you can see by the title, Only Fools and Liverpool. April the 1st, April Fool's Day. You already know what time it is. You already know what it is. We're back in the building. It's G, guys. As you can see, obviously scrolled across the bottom. If you guys have not smashed that like button, it's only been a minute into the video. Please make sure you do that for me, please. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. What's going on, people? What's going on? To be honest with you, obviously match reaction for Manchester City versus Liverpool. Scoreline kind of says it all. Let's remove the banner for you guys. 4-1. Liverpool lost again. We're back here again talking about another Liverpool defeat again. Another poor performance again. Another just tactically confusing game / second half again. Another Klopp, what are you doing? Don't really understand what you're doing again. I mean, it's just getting boring. Honestly, I could easily just end the video here, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And I blatantly should. I should just end the video and just say, you know what? We know what time it is. We know what it is anyway. Everyone knows. Do you know what I mean? Especially watching Liverpool, this season. It's just the same old stuff, man. Same old stuff. Obviously, first half, just a quick one. Obviously, first half, we went 1-0 up. Mo Salah again. Talisman, what do you expect? Probably the only one I probably thought was going to score, if anyone was going to score for us. Nunes was on the bench, wasn't really deemed fit enough to kind of start the game. Man City came back. We went for 1-0 down to 4-1 to a 4-1 loss. Now, this is Manchester City, just before we even dive into everything anyway. At the end of the day, it's Manchester City. Manchester City could do this to anybody. They're one of the best teams in world football. So, not that you expect it, but it can happen. It can happen. So, on that side of things, I'm like, all right, fair enough, cool. You know what? Not a big deal, not a problem, blah, blah, blah. But the reality of the situation is that, where Liverpool were, and again, obviously, we're only here to really talk about this game, but just in a general sense, that game, the game yesterday really did show like a clear difference. Liverpool at home, different animal. I think the table shows that Liverpool would be third if we only went by home games, but we'd be 19th if we went by away games. When we're at home, it's just pure fan passion. It's always really been like that, to be honest. So let me not even act like I'm surprised. It kind of, since I've supported Liverpool, winning games at home more often than not, in games that you probably feel that you're not maybe the best between the two opponents, the Barcelona game being like recent memory, Olympiacos back in the day, other little games and stuff like that. It's always home fans will get you through it. Home fans will get you through it, and we'd have to be either really, really shit or the opposition really, really, really good, i.e. Real Madrid 5-2, in order for us to kind of lose those games, at home. And that's kind of what it was, against Manchester City. We had a way that we wanted to play. In part, yeah, it probably did work, so to speak. I mean, City did have chances to disallow goal and all these kind of various different things, but in part it worked and we won the game. And I feel like we've been using our home fans a lot, for games this season. Not in every game, because obviously we've lost still to Leeds and, a couple of other teams. But, we've tried to use the home fans as much as humanly possible. We saw it in the season where we didn't have any fans, how poor Liverpool were at home. That kind of, that gave everyone the telltale kind of sign. I mean, it's good that you have a stadium where, it seems almost at times impossible for other teams to come there and pick up points or, to try and win a game and stuff like that. That's fantastic to have, and I'm not even trying to dismiss that, so to speak. But it just seems like when we have that home support, we're a completely different beast. And this season, when we are against the top teams anyway, we seem to play completely differently than when we play these teams, these lower league, lower table teams, should I say. But, even just away games in a general 12:30 kickoff, you already knew what time it was. You already knew that Liverpool weren't going to win this game. I said it before the game, it's going to be a loss. And so say so done, kind of thing. It happened, and you can kind of tell by my face. It's just getting boring. Honestly, we can sit here and play the blame game for a lot of people, but just as a team as a whole, everyone is just it just doesn't really make any sense, to be honest with you. Now, Manchester City, like I said, quality team, and yesterday, some of the things that Manchester City were doing, it at times it was quite mesmerizing, should I say, in terms of the type of football that they were playing, the things that they were doing, the passages of play, the box, the triangles, the intricate passing, the movement, the off the ball running, the finding the half spaces, players dropping deep to be able to pick out passes, all these kind of different things. Very fluid team, and we know that. Jurgen Klopp knows that. He knows that very well. He knows that very, very, very well. Which kind of confused me in terms of the way he tried to set up. Now, obviously, I'm speaking to Big Up Zabiri on Enza's channel yesterday. He was saying about how he could kind of see what Jurgen Klopp was trying to do, and obviously it just didn't work, which is fine, in that kind of sense. But for me, I still didn't really get it. Do you know what I mean? And I watched the game back again today, this morning, and I still didn't really get it. Like, I didn't. People keep mentioning this first half. Sometimes I do generally feel like we are watching two different games, because I didn't feel like Liverpool were that good in that first. I don't think Liverpool were good in at all. At all. I think we were good in parts. Like, if you picked out 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, a 2-minute spell here, yeah, I would say that. But in terms of a half, nah, man, we were like, you could say in the first half we was a 5, second half we was a 0 kind of thing. It was that kind of game for me, to be honest with you. But Manchester City, maybe first half I would have given them a 6, 6.5. All they needed was just more goals. Klopp kind of alluded to it anyway when he spoke about it. This is just one of the quotes, obviously tweeted out. We were lucky that City weren't in a greedy mood. They could do whatever they wanted. I can't explain it. We didn't put in a challenge for either goal. That's absolutely not acceptable, to be honest. And then obviously he speaks about the players that he felt, played good. 4-ish players had an okay game, and the rest were somewhere I don't know. Again, I don't really. It's mad because I don't really know what else to realistically say. Like, before I started this stream, I was getting together some of the facts, and we're gonna dive into everything anyway, just taking a little look. But trying to come at it, from a completely different angle, and I'm just bored. I honestly, I'm just bored. You know what I mean? I don't even know how many. I mean, we've got 11 games I think left. If it's just going to all be like this, where the performances are just leave so much to be desired, it's not really even about losing. As I said, Manchester City could do this to anyone, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I've seen them play better football. Yeah, and I think they've had better games actually against other teams, harder games. Brentford, being a game I can remember. And when I'm looking at it against us, it just feels like everything is just, no one knows what's going on. No one really knows what they're doing. We are relying heavily, and I do mean heavily, on individual quality this season. Unfortunately, the individual quality isn't enough when other teams also have quite a bit of quality in their team. Whereas before, when we would rely on this individual quality, we had it in abundance first and foremost. But at the same time, the other teams didn't really have that much. We were like miles ahead in terms of the quality of players that we had in comparison to the players that they had. We've still got some of the same players, but other teams have obviously improved, gotten better tactically, and all these other various different things. And I'm watching them and I'm thinking, we're probably one of the worst footballing teams in the Premier League. I was gonna say Bournemouth, maybe. Maybe. I mean, they just beat us the other day. I was gonna say Bournemouth, but yeah, in terms of just watching football, I mean, I feel like Tottenham are very, very boring, and I hate the way that they play. So maybe like us and Tottenham, two teams you wouldn't really expect because they're supposed to be at the high. Obviously, they are at the higher end of the table, but they're two teams that you just think to yourself when you watch them, like, what is this? At least with Tottenham, you just know it's boring. If they would just maybe they just had better players, it might even just work. But with us, I just feel like everything is so disjointed, and nothing's really making sense. We take a look here. Now, this is obviously for Manchester City's equaliser when we went after we've gone 1-0 up. Obviously, Klopp wants to play this pressing game. I don't know why he still wants to do this, like we are still stuck in 2017, but cool. He wants to do it. Do your thing, big man. It's your job on the line, not mine. Fair enough. Now, people keep saying we haven't got the players, blah, 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 blah. I think that is just a bunch of BS because we do have the players to do. We have the players to play a style of football. We just don't have the players to play this style of football. My issue with it is that you can play different ways of football. There isn't just only one way and one style. Why do you have to keep persisting? This goal just kind of summed it up anyway. There were obviously, it's happened throughout the season. I could pick out more or less every single game this season where teams have been able to pinpoint this. But just in regards to obviously yesterday's game, this is obviously Man City's equaliser right here. As you can see from the still, you've got Diaz got the ball. He's about to pass it to Akanji. Now, as you can see, I can't remember who that is running onto him right now. I think it might have been Diogo Jota. He's obviously going to press the ball because he is press happy. Obviously, an instruction being told that the ball is on this side of the pitch. By the way, guys, I want you to also take a look at the center circle where the referee is. There is one Manchester City player in that. Just remember that guy. Just remember him. All right. Just remember that guy is on that side. Now, everyone's ball watching. Everyone's not really paying attention to anything else on the pitch. They're all focused on Akanji, who's about to get the ball. What does Akanji do? He plays it to Kevin De Bruyne. Now, if you see in the first still, when Akanji does get this ball, obviously he got two options. He can either just play it to De Bruyne, which he obviously does, or he can play it inside. I don't know who that is in the middle, but I think it might have actually been John Stones, but he could play it in the middle. He could play in the middle, and then John Stones either then has a chance to be honest, he will have actually two options because he will have Akanji and Diaz to be able to pass to, and potentially, if obviously Henderson isn't able to get there, which I doubt he would, then he could obviously pass it to Kevin De Bruyne if he then drops into a certain position. But again, all hypotheticals. What ends up happening is obviously he gives it to De Bruyne. Now, the problem that you see here, to be honest, you see it here, to be honest with you, is that Robertson is even out of shot anyway, to be honest with you. So he's already too far away from where Kevin De Bruyne is. Again, when you've been told we needed to press in these kind of situations, these things can happen. Now, I understand, just before we continue, I understand, yes, this has worked in previous seasons. But I promise you, I do not know a manager who persists with a style of play for the entirety of their flipping time at one football club. Like, I just don't understand. I've not seen Fergie do it. I ain't seen Mourinho do it. I ain't seen Pep. Pep changes tactics every team he goes to. Carlo Ancelotti. Like, I don't see these top managers doing it. So why does Klopp continue to do things? And what takes the biscuit out of everything is that you continue to do it, and your team can't do it. And I feel like they're even telling you that they can't do it. But anyways, as I said, Robertson is out of shot. Diogo Jota is going to go steaming in like a headless chicken anyway to try and get that ball. Again, I'm not too mad at him kind of realistically doing that, but I think you can be maybe a little bit smart. I probably would have actually just left that to Cody Gakpo and tell him to do that running so that you can actually become the spare man and potentially help out with picking up either one of those players. But cool, fair enough. If he's the one doing the pressing, do the pressing. Cool, it is what it is. As I said, Robertson was already out of shot. Robertson was never in 1 million years going to get that ball. He was never going to be close enough to get that ball. The problem is, as well, this is where I say with Robertson, headless chicken at times, is that your exuberance, your enthusiasm during games sometimes, it can work when everybody else and everything else is fine-tuned to do so. When it is not, Robo, I beg, I beg, use your brain sometimes, bro. Just use your brain. It's not hard. Just it's like I've never played football at the highest level, so maybe this is more difficult than I actually think it is. But I don't think it's that difficult. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that it is that difficult, bro. All I'm asking you to do is just use your footballing IQ, all that experience that you've got, both internationally and at club level. Just deep the situation, because what you've done now is gone like a headless chicken. Like I said, Hendo ain't getting to. Hendo was in no man's land, and we can see here Henderson was just in no man. He don't know what he's doing anyway, so forget about him. But you then don't then think to yourself, "Oh, I must do that," because then what then happens is this. Now they've got a four versus three towards goal. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, we're now outnumbered in this position because you've done headless chicken vibes. You don't need to go, my bro. You actually don't necessarily need to go. What you should be doing is either communicating with Jordan Henderson or not steaming in ahead, because you've just left Riyad Mahrez. Like, what? Why would you leave him? I didn't even understand that when I saw the passages of play. And just here, by the way, if you guys actually go back and watch the goal. By the way, like the stills might obviously not going to show it here because they're showing him receiving this ball. And he's about to just play it one time. Watch the actual video of this goal. Kevin De Bruyne looks up before he receives the pass. He looks to see where Mahrez is, and he points. He actually points where he's about to put the ball. But Robertson's on this though. Robertson's already said, "Yeah, I'm good, bro. Like I've already committed to this now, so I've got to just keep on going. There isn't really a time to really stop and do whatever." Again, footballing IQ. Now you've left the team in a disadvantage in this situation. Now you look over to Trent Alexander-Arnold's side, because I heard a few people getting onto him. But I said, bro, unfortunately, in this situation, what the hell is he even going to do? Because he's already outnumbered regardless. As I said, by the way, let me go back for everybody. Let me just slow it down. I remember I told everybody, watch the guy next to the referee in the center circle. Let's move on. That guy next to the referee in the center circle, he's still in the center circle, but guess who's around him? Absolutely nobody. Now, I'm not blaming really anybody because this was a team thing. So I'm not going to just blame Robbo. I'm not just going to blame Trent or whoever everyone was trying to blame during the game. I can't even remember. But what I'm saying is, as a team, first of all, we can already see this midfield. I don't even know. You were just getting passed around, and it just seemed like what you were trying to do, it wasn't even really working. City were passing around you all game, even in this first half. Hence the reason why I'm baffled why anyone thought that first half was good. Like, it was good that we were able to stay in their game and we scored first by luck. Let's not get it twisted. But again, it is what it is. That guy in the middle, the one I said to watch in the center circle, he is just free. He is now just a spare man. What that then does is it confuses both Konate and Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he can do 1-2 vibes with the guy out there on the left-hand side, or with, I think it's Alvarez through the middle, or whoever it is through the middle. He can do 1-2 with either of them. But either way, both Trent and Konate are kind of in a piss position, because this is what obviously happens next. Mahrez obviously comes inside. Once he comes inside, as I said before, by the way, your three midfielders, by the way, are all behind the ball. I'm just like the ball is in front of these guys, and they're your three midfielders. So we're just left completely bare and naked. Pause. Crazy. But again, the guy in the middle, the guy that nobody was even looking at, nobody was picking up, no one was even aware of for some weird reason. He's just there by himself. Mahrez gets the ball. He passes it to the guy in the middle. The guy in the middle then passes it out to the left. Once he passes it out to the left, boom, bam, bim, Bob's your uncle. That's it. They play the ball in the box. They got the overload. So it wasn't even like people were like, oh, but why was Trent behind the like? Forget all of that. Forget all of that, bro. Like, forget all of that. Like, I can't even diss him for it. Because at the end of the day, he's just in that 2v1 situation. What the hell can he even do? Do you know what I'm trying to say? He was even close to even potentially cutting out the cross. Do you know what I mean? So again, when you look at this, like when you look at that, I'm just like, you're being obviously told, and you know what? Let me try and give Klopp a bit of the benefit of that. Maybe Klopp didn't even tell him that. Maybe Robbo just said, nah, man, I'm just going to do my thing. Because at the end of the day, when you're on the pitch, things happen. At times, you're going to have to just react to certain things and maybe go outside of the instruction. I don't know. But when I look at this is a team instruction for me. This is what I feel like. This is a team instruction. Press in this way. It's almost like press, but don't press too mad though. Like do the press thing, but don't do it too crazy though. Like don't go gung ho about it, please. And I'm just like, you can't do that against a Manchester City. You either need to press the hell out of them, like we've done in previous seasons, where they didn't even get time to breathe, or you're just gonna have to sit back. You just have to sit back and defend deep in a low block. Do you know what I mean? That's the only other way that you're going to be able to kind of do it. Again, you're looking here and it's like Manchester City have got too much space. As I said, this is obviously for the goal, but you got like this is just before obviously we scored, but this is what I was talking about when I kept trying to explain to everybody. I don't understand where we were playing good. This is all I saw in the game was this City time, space on the ball. Now I understand City can do that to teams, but I'm sorry, in the game and against a team that's supposed to be these pressing monsters and whatever, I shouldn't see it like this. City shouldn't have it this easy. They had it very, very easy for the majority, 80 to 90% of the game. They had this kind of joy where they're able to just kind of relax with it, and players got time to pick up passes, and they're doing so much movement that our players can't even really. At the end of the day, you can see it here where the ball and where the players are. You got, I think that's Akanji on the ball. We can give it to Diaz. Diaz can then spray a ball obviously out there to the left-hand side. If not, Akanji can play it into the middle. I think that's Kevin De Bruyne there, again highlighted next to Jordan Henderson, who again is in no man's land. Who's there to help him? Absolutely nobody, because our other central midfielders out there on the right-hand side doing fuck all. Then you've got Fabinho, who is not even in the shot, which scares me because now I'm like, right, you're not even in the shot. So if you're not even in the shot, where are you? Because I'm pretty sure that as soon as Kevin De Bruyne would turn, there's going to be a Mahrez again, all out of shot. But where are you though, bro? where are you to kind of help out in this kind of situation? But again, it is what it is. Look at Liverpool's average positions in the game. It was kind of just all over the gaff. You had Trent kind of high. Robbo was kind of dropped deep a little bit, obviously due to Mahrez and the way that he was playing. Trent obviously trying to push up high. But again, Jack Grealish kind of just exploited that, in the game. Very, very good game from Jack Grealish, in my opinion. The three central midfielders, you got Jordan Henderson, who seemed to be deeper than Fabinho. I don't really get that one, but fair enough. I didn't really get the formation. I didn't really get what was kind of going on. It just more or less kind of seemed like we were set up in a 4-3-3. I mean, people told me we were playing 4-2-3-1. We got Jerry because he mentioned it yesterday, but I was like, again, I'm not seeing what we're all seeing for some weird reason. And then when I go and check these kind of things here, I'm like, okay, so it wasn't just me then, because if I didn't see it and these guys are giving you the average positions, then clearly none of us have got a clue. None of us have got a clue, kind of thing, which then I'm worried about, because if we don't have a clue as fans looking at it, and I like to think that I like to, as content creators, we look at the game maybe a bit more analytical than others. Not to say that we are better, but just we look at the game a bit differently than other individual, your casual fans. If we're seeing something completely different, I'm just not really understanding as to what's actually really going on, on the pitch in itself. That's the bit that's kind of just, confusing me. And then, as I said, the lineups had it up like this, set up in a 4-3-3. Again, City set up in a 3-2-4-1. Now, with City set up in this kind of formation, obviously, first and foremost, what we need to deep is that they got 4 centre-backs on the pitch and absolutely no full-backs. So that's something that would scare you anyway. But the sheer fact that because of how fluid their style is and how expressive their style is, but it's quite defensively sound, because players then drop in, your Rodris or your Stones. Stones is actually playing in front of the back three. And you've got Ake, Akanji. They obviously split completely and they actually play almost as the fullbacks, which leaves Diaz in the middle at times by himself. But then, as I said, you've got Rodri or Stones who will then drop back in, Mahrez and then Grealish then drop back in even further there, so then become almost not wingers anymore. They come back into almost wing backs. And then you've got Kevin De Bruyne who floats, Gundogan who might then drop into that Rodri role. And then Alvarez yesterday, anyway, what he was doing was dropping deep into that midfield. But when he was dropping into that midfield, they've got runners. Something we don't have. We don't have no runner. Like they've all of their 1, 2, 3, 5 attackers, shall we say, so the four midfielders and Alvarez, all of them are runners. So they'll always run beyond whoever's the actual striker and try and get in the box. None of our midfield will do that. What we've got we've got one midfielder yesterday who wants to travel with the ball, not run beyond anybody, but who travel with the ball. So then what that then means is that when you've got someone like a Cody Gakpo who then drops deep or tries to drop deep, as we see here with the average positions, obviously you've got someone like a Gakpo who obviously you can see there, he's dropping deep. Mo's obviously there. You've got number 19 who's obviously supposed to be Elliot. They're almost playing effectively in the same position. Elliot is literally right on at Salah's bum, which obviously irritates the absolute life out of me. But what he likes to do is travel with the ball. So we're leaving obviously Mo to obviously do that kind of what he did at Anfield, which is that sole kind of striker up top. But we didn't play it in the same way. We weren't as compact as we were at Anfield. And that was the big difference for me, is that because we weren't compact, because we weren't able to, meet these challenges, first ball, second balls, our duels and stuff like that, we just weren't able to get there. And when I'm looking at, as I said, when we see here with Robbo, again, at Anfield, this didn't happen. Hence the reason why that tactic worked, because we were able to get there. We were able to play in a way that was compact enough that we weren't so high, so we didn't leave all that space in behind, but then at the same time, still able to launch counter-attacks and stuff like that. You don't need to go gung-ho all the time. You can just play a little bit more conservative. But again, as I said, it is what it is. Looking at Robbo's performance yesterday, dribble pass twice, 68 and percent accurate passes, absolute crap. Only won 2 of his 6 round duels, lost possession 13 times. He played absolutely poorly, man. I really wasn't really too happy. VVD, it was like some average performance from Van Dijk. Like, it was so average. You know what I mean? It was one of those weird ones, so average. Dribble past once, got himself 4 tackles, 7 clearances. But yeah, with him, he's been getting a lot of stick recently. I think rightly so. I think at the end of the day, regardless of how the teams are doing, are you performing to your best ability at this current moment in time? Obviously, at times, that's not going to be helped if the team is obviously playing poorly, etc., etc. I get that. But are you performing to any kind of degree where we can at least say, at least he's giving his all? Like, we look at James Milner, for example. What we always hear and say about James Milner is, ability-wise, he ain't really the guy. Like, you don't really want him to be playing. But you can always see he puts his all in when he does play these games. We just don't want to keep seeing him. You kind of thing. But with Van Dijk and players like him and Trent, when I watch them, Fabinho, I feel like you guys ain't even trying. Like, you just seem so lethargic and whatnots, and you're trusting in your own ability so much, which is obviously high quality ability, but you're trusting in that ability so much that you've left yourself in a position where once that ability kind of starts to show that there's weaknesses within that, what else have you got? At least show that you care. At least show. And with Van Dijk, like, as I said, he's been getting criticized quite a lot recently. And again, whether you agree with it, disagree, I'm kind of like more on the side of agree with it, because I feel like you are, in terms of how you've performed over these last couple of seasons, you're supposed to be this like you don't remind me of like a Sergio Ramos kind of guy, or a Carlos Puyol, or a John Terry, or a Rio. Like, all those guys, ability-wise, like just pure natural talent and ability, Van Dijk is probably better than them in terms of he can do everything. Not to say that they couldn't, but he can do it to a very, 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 very high degree. Again, not saying that those guys can't do it before anyone starts coming for me and says, oh, but Rio could do this. I know he could do it. I'm not saying they can't do it. But Van Dijk's natural ability, in my opinion, is better than those guys. But what those guys do is like, it's like with them, they've got this kind of leadership quality within them, which just comes out in certain displays where we need you to be a leader at the back. And unfortunately for Netherlands, he doesn't look it at all. I haven't seen him since the World Cup, but even prior to that, but let's say since the World Cup and all those games, I don't feel like confident with him as your captain or your leader at the back there. And when I see him for Liverpool, I always feel like, yeah, it's all well and good. I'm seeing him shout and throw his hands up when we concede a goal, like as if to say that, yo, bro, that you could have easily have helped in this situation and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like you're not showing me leadership qualities. Again, we're relying on that individual quality to actually get us out of these situations. Again, something that when we look at Jordan Henderson, ability-wise, not really that guy. But when you look at his leadership qualities, that alone has helped us through games. That alone, just the leadership. Forget what you think about Jordan Henderson. It's just the facts. The leadership qualities has actually helped us in certain games. But with him, I'm not seeing that. And that's why with that criticism, it might have been a bit harsh, a bit over the top. But that's why I was like, I hear it. I kind of agree, because you're not really showing anyone anything. You're showing everyone that, again, just like Jurgen Klopp, when things are going rosy, it's like, yeah, man, I'm the greatest at this. When things are not going rosy, what are you doing to be able to change that? And we ain't seeing that from him. And unfortunately, you're going to get criticized. You're the captain of your national team, and you're the leader, supposed leader at the back of this Liverpool defense. Sorry, bro, but you need to start patterning up your own performances before you start throwing your hands up in the air like some baby, telling everybody this, that, and the third, because we know how good you actually are. Did you get that? That's the annoying thing. We know that you're good. We know that you're still one of the best centre backs on earth. That's not really into question. I don't care what this season isn't going to change my mind and thinking, you're not still one of the top centre backs. Now, if it continues, obviously that will change. But in a general sense, of course, I think everyone knows that. But unfortunately, you're showing us little bits in your game that now other teams are going to spot that as a weakness. Let's see what you do. Let's see what you do, obviously, in the future. But, it's all in all, Liverpool versus Manchester City versus Liverpool. At the end of the day, as I said, Manchester City, they're on their stuff. I think they've only dropped like 2 points in their last 10 or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but they're on a roll. So Arsenal be very, very, very wary. I saw something here. This is obviously big chances conceded. Liverpool are ranked 19th in the fucking league. Like, guys, we are. Big chances conceded is 80. The only team lower than us is Fulham. Look at the teams in and around us. Look at the 3 per game. Even Nottingham Forest don't concede as many chances as we do. I'm sorry, but this has nothing to do with people are going to start screaming, oh, but FSJ are not giving us any money, and Jurgen Klopp is a brilliant manager, and they're playing. No. I'm not hearing any of that. I'm sorry. That is on Klopp. That is on Klopp and his stupid way of playing football. This is not 2017, 18, 19, 20 anymore. It's like, bro, grow up, change and adapt. Move forward, move with the times. That's what elite managers do. You move with the times, and you just cannot seem to do that. That's what's frustrating me the most. It's not all on you. Of course not. There are other mitigating circumstances, factors here at play. I get it. Players are not playing to their best. Ownership might not be giving you as much money as allegedly he wants actually in his thing, which I'm still a bit like, I don't even believe that, but cool. Let's just say allegedly Klopp wants more money to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm expecting, for all you Klopp lovers out there, I'm expecting next season for us to literally win the Premier League. And if we don't win the Premier League, it would have to be, we'd be another point off, because you guys are telling me that it's just a blip and Klopp can turn it around. But then in the same breath, we all know who our owners are, and the realistic chances of us being able to turn it around is going to depend on how much we can actually spend and how much we probably need to spend. Obviously, the two obviously differ. All these various different things. But hey, let's just see. That's obviously a conversation for another day. When we're looking at the table here, again, we can take this off. We're so low, I couldn't even. But this is obviously a live table. The Newcastle versus Manchester United game, as I last checked of this video, it was 0-0, and it was still the first half. So again, I don't know. That might change in terms of points wise and stuff like that. But we have now dropped down to 8th in the table, and we have got Chelsea next. Again, obviously Chelsea are more in the mud than we are. But again, I don't really care about Chelsea. I hope they continue to keep messing up. I hope we can beat them, obviously, because we need the 3 points. Because at this rate, Brighton gonna start moving away. Don't know what the Newcastle score is, but if Newcastle win, they start moving away. Brentford again, they have got played a game more, but teams just start moving away from you now. Tottenham, obviously, they're on 49 points, one game ahead. So we've got one game in hand and we're still 7 points behind. So let's say we win our game in hand, we're still 4 points behind. It's little things like this. Once these gaps start getting bigger and we've still got quite a few of these teams left to play, starts becoming a bit of an issue, if I'm being totally honest with you. Do we get top 4, guys? Let me know in the comments. Do we get the top 4? That's what I definitely want to know this season, if we're going to be able to get it. This was pretty funny from Klopp. I thought this is pretty funny. Klopp on if Rodri should have been sent off. I'm not sure we would have won against 10 men today. And yeah, as I said, that kind of summed up the game in itself, and everything kind of surrounding it. Poor performance, but it's the same. We're seeing these kind of performances weekly, let me not say weekly, that's a lie. We're seeing it very frequently this season. Too much for my liking, but at the end of the day, we're here now. I think it's 11 games left to go, so let's just wait and see. The quicker the season can be done, like I keep saying, and I've said on every video in terms of after my in the post-match reactions, I'm very intrigued to see what happens come the summer. I'm going to be looking solely at Jurgen Klopp to see exactly what he's going to do, how he's going to change things around. If he changes things around, I'll have to give him his dues, man. I'll have to give him his dues. I still want him to leave. I still don't want him to be the manager. I think we need to start moving on to bigger and better things. But ultimately, if he's able to at least change it around whilst he's still here, then not a problem. Thank you. Fantastic. And then we can obviously all move on. But if not, his head's going to be on a spike. But I'll leave it there, guys. I'll leave it there. As I said before, make sure you guys smash a like if you haven't already. Thank you for anybody who's obviously stayed tuned, who stayed with me until the end of this video, should I say, sorry. Liverpool, obviously 4-1 against Manchester City. Same old shit, same old shit. We'll be back here on Wednesday. I think we're playing on Tuesday against Chelsea, so we'll be back here Wednesday for another post-match reaction. Make sure you guys obviously check out my player watches coming out obviously each and every day, Monday through to Friday. Got some other videos. Might go live, talk about maybe Luis Diaz potentially, but I think I'll look to do that after the Arsenal game. Let's see if he actually gets a game in and stuff like that first. But yeah, I want to have a little conversation obviously about that and his positioning. But yeah, guys, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. I am G and I am out.